And we are live. What's going on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn Live? It's Coach Rowe. Today is Wednesday. I'd like to welcome you to the first row. And if it is Wednesday, you should know what that means. It's time for the Wednesday word. That's Wednesday word. Jumping straight into it. Tonight's topic is the comeback. As always, I like to share what I mean by my topics. So, what do I mean by the topic, the comeback? What I mean when I talk about the topic, the comeback, or what I'll be talking about tonight is really about how sometimes in our ability to make a comeback, we sometimes will taint that journey or corrupt that journey of coming back by making decisions that allow us to fall back into the areas of our comfort zone. So tonight I have 3 tools for the first row that I would like to share with you in regards to the comeback. Let's jump straight into it. Tool number 1 when it comes to the comeback is our mistakes will not disappear. Oftentimes when we're trying to come back from something, when we're trying to regain ground, sometimes we just want those mistakes to go away. We just want them to just be gone, poof, disappear. But unfortunately, the mistakes that we either made or the choices, maybe not even mistakes, good choices at the time, not really good choices for today. Good choices in the past, not good choices for the present. Sometimes it's not a matter of mistake, it's just a matter of the choice that we made. But when we are in this space where we're trying to get that to disappear, where we're trying to erase that, we're trying to remove that blemish from our journey, in essence, we actually allocate energy towards the past, towards a space that we are no longer in. It'd almost be like if I was trying to run a race, but I was going to run it backwards. I'm running this race, running backwards. I, number one, can't see where I'm going. What's going on, Brother Bruce? I can't see where I'm going. So I'm running as fast as I can backwards. I can't see what I'm running to. I can only see what I passed. And this is what it's like when we're trying to erase or disappear those mistakes that we had in the past, is we're looking to the past. And the unfortunate thing is that you've already passed it. Now, unless you want to run in circles over and over again and you want to memorize the track to where, okay, when I get to this point, I'll be getting to the point that I want to erase. Unfortunately, time doesn't work that way. But unless you want to run in circles, the odds of us being able to erase that mistake or remove that mistake are slim to none, if not impossible. Well, time travel doesn't exist yet, so we'll say impossible for now. And really, by focusing on the past, what happens is the reason it trips us up in trying to make a comeback is because we don't have the necessary attention on the present and or the future, the things that are to come and the things that we're trying to get back to. In essence, when I say, our mistakes will not disappear, not only are the mistakes or the choices that we made to be in a position where we need to make a comeback, not only are those choices our mistakes or choices not going to disappear, as we move towards our comeback, and this is where we typically will fall back to our comfort zone, we're going to make more mistakes. And as we make those mistakes, it's easy to say, oh man, I'm just going to kind of like linger here, or I want to go back and redo that part. Well, you can't redo it. All you can do is do better. Whether it's the next time the opportunity comes or the next opportunity that comes, do better. And so when I say our mistakes will not disappear, also what I'm saying is that our focus on the things that we cannot change is wasted energy. And this is what happens in the sense of trying to make a comeback, where a lot of people give up. And a lot of people say, you know what, it's just not worth it. I'll never do it. I'll never be as fast as I was again. I'll never be as strong as I was again. I'll never sing as good as I used to sing. All these different things kind of come to the surface in that comeback moment because we're focused on what we used to be and not what we are today and what we could be in the future. You can't change what you used to be. If you are no longer it, you're no longer it. You can't make it be present in the moment if you didn't carry it with you to that moment. It's almost like going to the grocery store and leaving your wallet. Oh, I have all my groceries, everything's ready to go, and now I'm at checkout and I don't have my wallet. Well, I can't miraculously teleport my wallet to the grocery store. Now, I might be able to ask them to hold my groceries and go back home and get my wallet and come back to the grocery store, but there's no event that undoes the fact that I left my wallet, that undoes the fact that I left my currency. And in this particular case, when we're dealing with comebacks, there's no event that can undo the mistakes that we had. And in all honesty, I believe that if we did erase those mistakes, we might find ourselves right back in the same situation. If we could erase those mistakes, we would find ourselves right back in the same situation where we may have taken something for granted and now we don't have it. I've had to experience that with playing the piano. I used to play the piano by ear. I used to play the piano decently well. And now I don't. And if I erase the mistakes that I made in not practicing and not continuing to develop my craft, not learning more, not learning how to read sheet music, if I erase those mistakes, then who's to say if I was to get back to the level of playing the piano by ear that I was at, that I wouldn't take that gift for granted again. Maybe age would make me not take it for granted, but there's no guarantee. I feel like our mistakes are ingrained in what and who our identity is. What our identity is being what we are perceived as, what people think of us as when they think of us, but who our identity is who we know ourselves to be. And every single mistake that I have made, good, bad, ugly, wish it never happened type mistakes, all of those mistakes that I have carry me into who I am today. And without those mistakes, without those lessons, without those opportunities, I am not the Billy Rowe that I am today. So that's tool number one in a nutshell. Our mistakes will not disappear. So quit running backwards, looking at the past. Start making your transition to turn around, look in front of you, and make the trajectory towards your comeback. Tool number two when it comes to the comeback is the comeback is a process. How nice it would be is if we could just leap forward and be right back where we were. Unfortunately, that's not how life works. And it's kind of fortunate. I feel like you should have to earn it in some cases. But often when we are in a comeback process, what we want to do is, again, we want to just pick up where we left off. I actually experienced this in a relationship. So it's not just in comebacks in like your own individual life. Sometimes it's in relationships that you have with others. You may have been disconnected for a long period of time, and now you want to rekindle or reconnect that relationship, and you just want to pick up where you left off. Well, sometimes that's not where people are at. People have either moved on with their lives, or people have had changes in their life. People may, be struggling with like drug addiction or depression at this point in their life. So the pickup where it left off doesn't take place the way you may see it playing out in your mind. And a lot of times in the comeback, the process of the comeback, when we think we're just going to go back and it's going to be like the last time, it's like if I go to play basketball, I got to do some stretching now. Now, when I was a kid, it was like, oh man, I could just get out there on the court in whatever gear with no stretching, just go and play for hours. Now, as an adult, I'm like, hey, I don't want now I got next because I need to stretch and get these joints ready to move when it's time to play this game. And so being cognizant that the comeback is a process also gives you the ability to understand that it's okay to have a little grace with yourself. It's okay to forgive yourself as you make missteps on the road to recovering what you may have lost or recovering what you may have taken for granted. Maybe you didn't lose it, you just took it for granted. And so understanding that process really, by understanding that the comeback is a process, it really gives you this space to not get discouraged. Because honestly, when you're trying to make a comeback, if I was trying to like make a comeback with like a singing career or an acting career, it can get really discouraging when you used to be a person that everybody wanted, you're in high demand, and now you're a person that people are saying, no, thank you, we'll pass. No, thank you, we don't even want to do a callback. No, thank you, we don't even want to do an audition. That might eat at your soul. It might eat at your soul because you were accustomed to, at a different time frame, a certain level of treatment, a certain level of being held at a certain caliber. And now that you're not at that caliber, not being held in such high regard, it can be a little difficult and it can be a little frustrating. And the emotion of frustration is absolutely okay. I don't want to invalidate that you can't get frustrated with the process of making a comeback. However, understanding that it's a process and understand that day one is not going to be like day 100 when you were back in your prime, in the sense of the skill set that you had maintained in that time. And so understanding it's a process is super important. I just actually experienced this last week, and actually probably a month before last week, but definitely last week, when we were celebrating my godfather's celebration of life. And here I was singing in the choir, and it had been easily over a decade since the last time I had sang in a choir, and definitely well over a decade and a half since the last time I had sang lead in a choir. But it was frustrating to be, for me, and then the frustration was okay, to frustrating to be in practice and going over the songs and not knowing what my note was. Because I used to sing all the time, it was very easy for me to pick up harmonies. However, I didn't focus on the fact that, oh man, well, 20 years ago, I could pick up the harmony like that, or I could do like that, or I could do like this. No, I took in some of the 20 years ago lessons and started listening to the tone going into my ear to make sure I wasn't off pitch. Here's the crazy part. Not even was it just sometimes I couldn't find my part. Sometimes I knew what my part was, but the part was so high, it felt as if it was beyond my range, and it was hard for me to hit those notes. So that understanding that comeback to singing for me was a process. I was much more patient with myself. Hey, I didn't get it this time. Hey, I'm off pitch. Hey, I'm not doing the proper breathing, and that's why I'm running out of air. Understanding those things allowed me to have patience, work through the process, and get to a point where I was ready to sing at the celebration of my godfather's life. So that's tool number 2, is the comeback is a process. Don't forget it's a process. And I will give you a bonus tool within this tool. If you are going to make a leap in progress in this process of the comeback, I'm going to tell you, it's best to get a running start. Don't think you're going to jump 6 feet from standing still. You're going to be able to run and jump maybe 6 feet from standing still, but trying to just jump and leap, well, I'm ready to make a comeback, I'm going back into it. That's not going to work. That's how you get yourself hurt and your feelings hurt. So that's tool number 2. The comeback is a process. And tool number 3, when it comes to the comeback, is be honest about the objective. Man. Hey, what's going on, Casual? Being honest about the objective, I feel like sometimes, I don't even feel like sometimes. I feel like any time we make the decision that we're going to make a comeback in any area of our life, and we are not completely honest and transparent with ourselves about why we want to make that comeback, it puts us at a handicap in the process of coming back from whatever we're trying to come back from. And so think about how difficult making a comeback already is. Even when, like, if you were working out and you were going to the gym, when I was working out consistently, I think I was doing like 2 plates and 25 or something like that. Like, I was pretty strong, solid muscle strong. Wasn't like buff. I was just strong. And then not going to the gym for 2 years through COVID, a shoulder injury and things like that. And then going back, I didn't go back and say, hey, you know what? I want to be back here because I want to be buff and I want to look good and all these different things. I was like, look, I kind of just missed my strength. I want to be stronger. And in that desire to be stronger, that's what's kept me motivated to going back to the gym. That's what's kept me motivated to doing what I need to do in order to gain that strength. Because if it was about looks, I'm tell you right now, I've been gave up on the gym. Like, yeah, you know what? You get what you get. And this is what I look like. And if you don't like that, then that's a you problem, not a me problem. So being honest about your objective. And I'm going to even say, to the extent of, if it's about ego, if it's about status, if it's about money, if it's about popularity, whatever it may be honest with yourself about it. Because I will tell you, if you lie to yourself about it, you still know what the truth is. And you're going to try to connect incentive and try to connect motivation and inspiration to something that is false. And every time you look at it and say, yeah, this is because I want to help the world, but it's really because you want to make a lot of money. This is because I want to help the world. And you're going to say, see, I'm trying to help the world. And even if you do help the world, it's not going to be motivating enough for you to make that comeback. It's not going to generate enough fuel or energy or inertia to move you forward in the process of making a comeback. I will tell you, making a comeback is typically an uphill battle. Why is it uphill? Because you rose up the hill the first time, you got to the top, and then you descended down the mountain, and now you got to go all the way back up to the top where you were at once before. So it's typically an uphill battle. It's typically very frustrating. And so if you're going to go back up to the top of the mountain that you already climbed and beyond, then at least be honest with yourself. So that way you're motivated to do the actions that you're going to be required to do to get back to the top. Other than that, you're probably going to get halfway up and you're going to say, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm climbing back down. Don't worry about your notifications. You got to hit that bell, casual, to make sure you get notified when we go live. So those are the 3 tools that I have for you guys tonight in regards to the comeback. Really quick to go over them really briefly. Tool number 1 is our mistakes will not disappear. Whatever led us to need to come back has already happened. And as we are working to come back, we will make more mistakes, allow those mistakes to be in the past, and continue to forge forward. Tool number 2 is the comeback is a process. Even if you are going to leap forward, you're going to need a running start. You're going to need a running start. So even if you get to skip a couple steps, you're not going to be able to skip the first few steps because you're going to have to build up momentum to skip a step. And then tool number 3 is be honest about the objective. At the end of the day, ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? And you got to know what you're squeezing and what juice you're expecting. Because if you're squeezing a lemon, expecting orange juice, you're going to be highly disappointed when you take that first sip of lemon juice. So those are the tools that I have for you guys tonight. As always with the Wednesday Word, I like to share a personal story, something that got me thinking about this particular topic, and really resonated with me even as I was creating the tools in this particular topic. But I was thinking about my journey back to the gym, the comeback, going back to the gym, getting in shape, getting healthy. And I was thinking about why I chose that. And I knew for me, it was about strength. Now, here's the thing. I've been consistently out of the gym, I guess I should say, for about 2020. So about 2 years. And so going back has been a challenge. And I have these moments where there's a lot of energy and I'm like, yeah, I get to go. And then I have these days where I work until 7:00 at night before Wednesday Word. And I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym. But here's the thing. For the last 2 weeks, tomorrow will be 2 weeks since I've been to the gym. Seems like, oh man, you're falling back into that process of not being consistent and going to the gym. However, I'm very clear as to what the last 2 weeks have entailed for me and how occupied my time has been and how diminished my energy has been. So instead of being focused on the past, Billy stopped going to the gym for 2 years. And because he stopped going to the gym for 2 years, now he's not as strong as he used to be. Instead of focusing on that, I'm focused on the comeback and on the climb. And the climb is this: what have I done in order to get into a space to help my body, even though I haven't been in the gym? And though I have eaten out in the past 2 weeks, I have also been more conscious about what I am eating. And so I've been eating a healthier diet so that my body has healthier fuel to burn through. I'm not bringing a whole bunch of fat cells to the gym that I have to burn off and run on the treadmill and do all these things. But I've also been very cognizant of this little tool right here, tracking all my steps, tracking my calorie burn. So I didn't go to the gym one day within the last 2 weeks, but I've burned 5,000 calories. So in burning 5,000 calories, you probably were doing something that was active, that was an activity that got your heart rate up, that helped your muscles, even though you didn't get to lift those weights that you were so bent on lifting at the gym. I did something that was nurturing to the comeback. And that's why I say the comeback is a process. We have it all drawn out in our mind. I'm going to go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I'm going to make sure I do this workout this day, this workout that day, this workout this day, and 10 miles a week. I got to make sure I get these things done. We draw it out and think that we're going to execute to perfection. And the reality is that in the comeback, there's going to be some missteps, and it's up to us to adapt. And that would probably be the bonus tool for tonight on the comeback. At all times when you're making a comeback, understand that there will come moments that you will need to adapt and adjust your plan and maybe even adjust your gear a little bit. And that's okay in the comeback. don't trip yourself up. Don't get yourself in a place where you cannot move in the direction that you want to move, or you're slipping back so fast that you end up right back at the bottom of that hill, discouraged and really sometimes reluctant to continue to move forward in that comeback. So that's what I got for you guys tonight. Casual. Hey, I always have content for you guys on Wednesday, unless I'm on a break from the seasons. But I will always have content for you guys on Wednesday, so long as I can do it. Unless I don't have anything that I feel is of substance, then I won't post. I'm not about posting junk. But I thank you guys for tuning in with me live. The next things that you can see on the first row, actually, before you even get to the next thing on the first row, later this week on Friday, hop over to The Grind Defined and catch my co-host Carolyn Michelle's podcast, The Grind Defined. She is in the top 5 podcasts in the nation right now. So you might want to check over and check some of her content out. If you like the Wednesday Word, if you like our show that we do live on Tuesdays, you're going to love her podcast. She has some amazing guests that she interviews, and the conversation dynamic is really refreshing. And then the next time you will see both of us here on the first row or on the Grind Defined Facebook page will be on Tuesday. That's for Carolyn Michelle and Billy Rowe live. The topic I'll release the topic on social media so you can see the topic there. But we are here at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there. And then, as always, you can catch me on Wednesday for the next Wednesday Word next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other than that, if you have not already done so, head over to firstrow.com. Get your copy and your journal for Fire Your Job, Hire Your Passion. I cannot tell you the level of heart, compassion, energy, time, just everything that I poured into this particular book. This is my first book that I have written, and there will be more to come, but this is going to be a very key component of the next book that I write. So if you have not done so already, head over to firstrow.com. That's 1STWROE.com and get your copy of the book and the companion journal so that you can really put the work in that you need to do if you're trying to make a comeback. Just saying. But other than that, as always, thank you guys for watching live. I always enjoy talking with you guys in the chat. I enjoy with you interacting with you guys if you're watching via the replay in the comments for the first 7 days, and then we move on to new content. But until the next time, if you like this video, share it. If you share it, like it, again, happy to engage with you on all the different social media platforms and within the content that is created here on the first row. But until the next time, one love, peace, and God bless. Thanks for sitting on the first row.